right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me at Crime Crunchies. My name is Courtney C., and I have started this channel a while ago. I stopped while I was trying to figure out exactly what kind of angle I was going to be taking, and I really have felt compelled to go live again today, honestly, because I am just horrified at what is happening right now, what is unfolding in front of all of us with Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother. And I am still working on my channel and getting it going. I appreciate everybody's support, liking, subscribing especially, and sharing as we get going. So again, my name is Courtney C. I am just a citizen of the country. I am deeply involved in true crime, but I am actually an empath, and I'm able to feel people's emotions. I'm able to read people's emotions. And so what I want to do with my take is to look at this, and without being a licensed mental health counselor, therapist, or anything, this is me giving my opinion. Just kind of look at what people are doing and what is unfolding, and share my opinions with you as we go through this, because honestly, I cannot imagine something more horrifying than my 84-year-old mother going missing for several days and not having any idea where she could possibly be. So what I want to do is I really want to start with what everyone's kind of calling the ransom video with Savannah and her siblings. I want to look at this, and I want to look at the brother and the sister, and then talk a little bit about what people have been saying, especially Ashley Banfield. She's been getting a little bit of heat because she is saying she has a solid source that is stating that the brother-in-law, Savannah Guthrie's sister's husband, is a prime suspect. Okay, I am not saying that. That's not my opinion. I'm just reporting on what I've read. And so having that information out there, and just earlier today, Ashley Banfield, she doubled down on it. She said, no, I have a source. I have been in media for 30 years. This source is solid. I stand by my reporting. And so thinking about that and this ransom note, I have some thoughts. And so let's watch this video together. And I'm sure everybody has seen it, but let's just take a look at this together. So let me get my screen up here. And here we go. Okay, so looking at this ransom, I mean, obviously people have been talking a lot about this, and it's very obvious from what like Brian Enton has reported that FBI is probably calling the shots. Several different, alphabet departments are calling the shots. They saw folks going into Annie Guthrie's home the other day with a ring light and equipment, and there's no doubt that somebody has authored the things that they are reading to this person. You'll hear a lot of words like mom, mama, mommy, your grandchildren love you and they cover you with kisses, and about the health issues of Nancy. And a lot of this is because if you've got somebody who has mental health issues, sometimes these people don't look at others as actual people. They are tools. And a lot of SA offenders look at people as tools or objects to help them get whatever it is that they want or that they need. And I believe that a lot of the language that they're talking about, they're humanizing their mother. They're trying to reach out to the kidnapper and make her, more human, more loving. We need her. We're desperate. We want her back. They're ready to talk. It doesn't sound like there's been a lot of information put forth by the kidnapper about, them not reaching out. Basically, the note said, this is our only chance to reach out, and there's another deadline looming on Monday. Just send the money, blah, blah, blah. But here's what I feel. Okay, and this is kind of taking into account a little bit about what Ashley Banfield said. And again, not my opinion, it's what she's reporting, but let's just look at a couple different options. If the brother-in-law is involved in this, and let's say he and Annie, Tommaso and Annie dropped Nancy off. They know that the garage door opened. 2 minutes later, the garage door closed. Nancy's in the house. And then at 1:40 something a.m., somebody is seen on the camera. And then the heart monitor disconnects from the Apple Watch around 2 a.m.-ish something. It's very possible that if it is the son-in-law, the brother-in-law of Savannah, that maybe this person went in to rob, and maybe Nancy confronted them and something bad happened and they removed the body because now they're freaking out. There was no intention of hurting Nancy, but things happen. She's 84, she's elderly, she's got pain, she's got health issues. Remove the body. And one scenario is that this ransom note is just a red herring. I mean, I could see somebody who's panicking, making a stupid mistake and putting out a ransom note to try to divert attention away from them, which is very possible. I mean, either way, in 2026, technology is going to get you. You cannot get away with crimes anymore. And, this person is going to get caught no matter what. So let's just say that it was the brother-in-law. Something happens with the mom. They take the mom out. Who knows where the mom's body is? They do the ransom note if they're connected to draw attention away from them. Or here's something else I was thinking. Or what if Savannah and the brother are working with the FBI? The FBI is taking the car. They're doing DNA. They're checking stuff out. What if this ransom note is being driven by the FBI to make the sister and or Tommaso feel safe that the focus is on this ransom and that it's a mystery kidnapper to divert the attention away from the brother-in-law while they're conducting this investigation? What if Savannah is in on that? Savannah looks genuinely disturbed in this video. She's crying when the sister says the words, "Mama, Mama." I mean, Savannah's eyes are clenched shut. The brother has really closed in body language. His arms are crossed. He's got one hand over his privates, which is protecting his private area. And he's got the other one holding onto his arm. And he doesn't move from this. He doesn't say anything. The girls are talking. Annie does look upset. She looks completely drained, but that could be coming from the space of, did my husband do this? Am I somehow responsible for my mother, who I genuinely love? Am I tied into this somehow? She could be in so much pain, whether it's somebody else random, whether there's a kidnapper, she's traumatized, she's destroyed inside. She's going through fright or flight right now. But if there's any possibility that she thinks this could be her husband, she is beside herself. Or if she's involved, she could be filled with regret. Maybe I knew about a plan. Maybe we both needed money. Maybe I knew that he was going to go and steal something from my mother's house. And I know that something bad has happened and I have to act like I don't. So again, this is all speculation, but these are things I'm picking up on. We don't know that Savannah, at the very least, doesn't know what the FBI is genuinely doing and could be doing a part to help draw information out from her sister. Because think about it. If she's staying at the sister's house with the brother and they're going through this together, how do we know that Savannah, her job may be to get her sister to confide in her and to learn something, to listen to her sister and have something slip? I mean, that would be very valuable to have someone embedded with Annie who can overhear, who can, reach through Annie or hear Annie talking with the husband, because we haven't seen the husband. Where's Tommaso? Where's Tommaso in all this? He's not anywhere. I don't think anyone has seen him coming or going from the house. So, I mean, I'm looking at it it's like spokes on a wheel. We could have Annie knowing and is involved, and she's very regretful because she knows a secret. She can't turn her husband in. She's sick to her stomach. Something very bad has happened. She has knowledge. She's devastated. Or Annie has no idea, doesn't think her husband is involved, thinks there could be a ransom. I mean, it's just layers and layers of nightmare. But Ashley Banfield is triple doubling down. And so you have to wonder, is there really something to it? I do believe the FBI, and they've done this before, we've all seen it. The FBI has no problem publicly going in a direction and saying things strategically to make the actual perp stay calm and feel safe that it's not them. So I could see them going down a route of, hey, let's throw this ransom note out. Let's act like we're paying attention to this ransom note while we're getting this investigation done. I think it would be super smart to keep Savannah in the house in case she hears something, sees something, whoever it is. And obviously this is her sister. I mean, I can't imagine that the sister has anything to do with this. The sister was the one who took care of the mother. The sister was the only one living 10 minutes away from the mother. The brother is out of state. Savannah's out of state and she travels. I mean, it sounds like these are really, really close siblings. So either way, something horrible has happened, but there's just no world where this isn't somebody very close to Nancy Guthrie. There's just no way this isn't someone very close. I heard a report that they're looking at a home care worker. I don't know. Again, it's hard to say. Everything is all speculation at this point. I want to play the part from Ashley Banfield today where she, again, kind of goes into her reporting. So let's watch this for just a few minutes. All right, so let's just take a minute away from that. So, all right, so here's some other things. While Ashley Banfield may be right, let's just assume she's right and her source is correct, and Tommaso is a prime suspect behind the scenes. This probably is not helping the investigation. And I would imagine that the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff is not wanting this information to come out, because this is what spooks. If they are investigating Tommaso, they want everyone to just kind of be calm and not flee and not run while they investigate. Maybe, the person who's behind this will come clean. It's hard to say, but I don't know that it's really has helped anybody by having Ashley Banfield state that the son-in-law is a prime suspect, if I can talk. And they probably are upset at somebody leaking who's close to the scene, behind the scenes, probably wondering who leaked this. And I don't think that she's doing anyone any favors as far as the investigation, because obviously we all want to know what's going on. We all are invested in this. Oh God, please have nothing have happened to this 84-year-old woman. Chances are things are not going well on that front, but we need the police and law enforcement people to do their job quickly. And I think this is slowing things down. Regardless, it's out there. But let's talk about, Tommaso and Annie drops Annie off. I'm sorry, Annie and Tommaso drop Nancy off at her home. Let's think more about if Tommaso went back to the house at 1 a.m. We're just going to play devil's advocate. We're going to say that this is the scenario. He goes back to the house, is going to do something, steal something, get something. Nancy, I don't know if my mother lived with me till she was 82 and she passed away in my house. She was up all night long. I'd hear her TV on. Nancy could have been awake and heard somebody rustling around in the other room. Nancy could have come and caught this person, and shit could have just gone downhill. It could have just gotten way out of hand, whatever happened. Obviously it did. And the ransom note, that again is kind of a big focus right now. The reason why they're taking it seriously is because it has details in it that somebody who was at the scene would only know, like what she was wearing, where the watch was. We've heard about this floodlight that was broken. All that is great. But that could be the FBI, because they've seen the crime scene. They could have written this ransom note to get Tommaso feeling safe again. If Tommaso was there and he's using this ransom note as a red herring, he, of course, if he was there, he could have written the ransom note very easily and done it just to get the heat off of him and to redirect law enforcement to somebody else. There's several different angles you could look at this, or the ransom note is real and somebody actually went and kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. So I'm kind of looking at it and speculating 3 different ways. Is it Tommaso who went in to rob and actually something bad happened and they hurt her and they pulled her out and he's put this fake note together? Is it the FBI putting the note together to kind of draw things out? Or is it a real kidnapper? I just can't see it being like a third party kidnapper. I really, really can't. I feel for this family, if anybody has lost somebody tragically, and I mentioned when my mother died at 82, we knew she was dying. She failed very quickly. We didn't get hospice in literally until the night before she passed. They got her on pain meds to get her relaxed. And she passed away, but I knew she was going to pass away. That wasn't traumatic, but I have lost a loved one who was 36 and it wasn't anything that was supposed to have happened. And I can tell you, this was 3 years ago. There are still moments when I catch my breath and I think to myself, oh my God, is this real? Has this really happened? And so while you expect your 82, 84-year-old mother to naturally pass because that's the way life is, the fact of what has happened to this 84-year-old woman, Savannah, Annie, and the brother, they are going to be traumatized for years. No matter the outcome of this, they're going to be traumatized for years. They could end up being hyper vigilant when they're out in public and feel like the fear. Brian Koberger, in that situation, one of the roommates, she showed up during the sentencing, and she said, I'm hyper vigilant. Everywhere I go, I feel like I'm not safe. I'm looking for doors. How am I going to get out of here? This is the level of trauma that these people are going through right now and are going to go through, no matter if they find their mother. And I just hope that they do get resolution. I hope that they're able to get their mother's remains back if she has passed. But either way, they're going to need serious therapy. And I don't know how they're not going to get through this. Hopefully they can get through this together. But I guarantee you right now, they are not sleeping. They probably can't eat. I predict that they've each thrown up at least twice. When you get so traumatized and your whole body, the heartbreak is pain. It's physical pain. And I can't tell you when this traumatic situation happened with a loved one. I mean, you can't explain why you would have to throw up, but you are so upset. And it just, your whole life is just like, you don't look at life the same at all anymore. And so I'm really looking from an empath, looking at these people and what they're feeling and the agony of sitting there in front of the camera reading this, and Savannah Guthrie squinting her eyes in pain, because I think that there's a part of her that literally cannot believe that this is happening right now. And no matter the outcome, I don't know, this is going to be very, very difficult for them to get past in any fashion. So I don't know. I feel like in my mind, I do feel like this ransom note is a bit of a red herring. I've heard people say it could be cartel. If Ashley Banfield, if her source is right and the son-in-law is behind this, again, I feel like the ransom note could be something that the FBI has put together to get Tommaso feeling safe while they're doing the investigation. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually have Savannah embedded and understanding, that while she's in the house, she's eyes and ears to see if Tommaso says anything, texts anything, shares anything with Annie. If Annie says anything, if Annie has any knowledge, a close sibling is probably the person that could draw that out of their sister if there's any knowledge to be had. I wouldn't be surprised if they have Savannah knowing that the ransom note is fake. I also, speculation city, like I said before, the ransom note could be if Tommaso, we're going on Ashley Banfield's reporting, if Tommaso is behind this, he could have written this note, send it to TMZ. Okay, this guy is he's in a band. He wanted to be a rock star, so he would know who TMZ is. But the people that got the same note that TMZ is a local Tucson station, Harvey Levin stated that in the note, they're not releasing what's in the note, obviously, but in the note, there's details that only the kidnapper would know. And also, it's very apparent from however the note was written that the kidnapper is still in the Tucson area, because there's some wording or indication that they are there. So if this is Tommaso, sloppy work, this is just a regular guy, maybe went in to rob or steal something, get something out of Nancy's house. 84-year-old woman gets up and goes pee all night long, hears rustling in the other room, walks in. Tommaso freaks out because she sees Tommaso, gets into a fight. Maybe Annie got grabby and says, no, what are you doing? Get out of here. Something happens bad that wasn't intended. Gets rid of Nancy somewhere. And there's plenty of room to do that, they may never find. I'm not even going to put that out there. But the other angle is that if he wrote this ransom note to get the heat off of him, again, stupid. This is not a career criminal if that is what he did. In the technology of this world, if the FBI came in on day 2 and they are already geofencing the area for cell phones, I guarantee you they already know who did this. I'm predicting they know who did this. This ransom note is something that they're probably letting the media latch onto, again, to keep the perpetrator feeling safe. Oh, I have a question here. Hi, 19 Timmy. Do you believe the note is real? This story is weird. How did they get the woman out into the car without waking up the neighbors? So I lived in Phoenix, and when you're on an acre to 4 acres, especially with the trees and everything, and there's wind, you aren't going to hear a lot. You can get away with pretty much a lot of noise. If somebody's in their home at 2 in the morning, you're not going to hear anything. There are no lights out there. It was a very dark night. It wasn't starry. My theory is that and this is all speculation, there could be 3 different things with this ransom note. A, that it was Tommaso going on Ashley Banfield's reporting that it was Tommaso, the son-in-law, and that something bad happened that he didn't intend, and he's messy because he's not a career criminal. He's got this ransom note that he wrote because he has knowledge of the scene, and he sent it to TMZ and the Tucson station to throw the scent off of him because he's being sloppy. B, that the FBI has put something together, again, to make him feel safe while they're investigating. A lot of this is redirection of information, and I could see they're very strategic with the information that they put out. I don't know that the FBI is behind it, but I think that they're taking this ransom note and they're using it to redirect attention, because right now, it's like shiny object. And if Tommaso is behind it, or whoever's behind it, they feel like, okay, this note is helping me. Or it could be just some real weirdo out there, and it could be a real situation, but people are sick. They come out of the woodwork and they try to take advantage of things. Could be an opportunity to get money. I don't think that if Nancy was removed from the house, which we know she was, she had to have been carried out. My mother was 82 and could barely walk from the house to the car. She would have to stop and sit down. Nancy did not leave the house all on her own. She had to have been carried. And that's where, again, I'm thinking that whoever did this knows Nancy, was very comfortable with the situation, knew where the cameras are, pulled the cameras down, knew what, her routine was. And that's why, if Ashley Banfield has doubled and tripled down today, saying her reporting is saying that it's the son-in-law, this would make sense. He went in and tried to get something that he knew was there. Mom is up in the middle of the night watching TV or just can't sleep because that's what 84-year-old women do. Sees him. They could have gotten into a tussle. Wouldn't take very much for Nancy to expire from something like that at all. And I know for my mother, she would bruise very easily. She could have punched her in the nose with the blood and everything. The heart could have given out, anything. It could be a million different things. So I believe that, and the reason why I do feel like there could have been a second person there, if it is the son-in-law, I heard that somebody was thinking that it could have been more than one person. I do sense, and again, this is just me with, I listen to my intuition a lot. I had, I'm an empath. I can read people. I can feel things. I'm not psychic. I'm not a medium or anything like that, but I actually can just feel things. Okay. That's all I'll say. I feel like there could have been a second person. I don't know that Tommaso would have done this alone. And especially with her being 84, they say she's 150 pounds, dead weight of 150 pounds if she was passed out, or even if she was struggling. That is going to be difficult for one person to get out of the door if she's fighting you and she's got a nosebleed or she's bleeding from somewhere. Either she's fighting because she's a scrapper, which I think in my mind, that's what caused this, is she was scrapping and something bad happened, an accident. They had to get her out of there because they're freaking out. This is not what I meant. I was just coming here to steal. So I think that there was another person. Could have been, maybe Tommaso. He's a school teacher, but you don't know what people are really doing. If he, plays in a band, we don't know if there are drug issues or alcohol issues. We don't know what kind of people they hang around with. And again, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just going off of what Ashley Banfield has reported. And this is just kind of what my gut is telling me. I see Timmy says she has had lots of bruises and pictures. Yes, that's very common, especially if she has a pacemaker and she's on blood thinners. It's very easy for older people to bruise. You can just touch them and they'll bruise. So if you're not sure who Ashley Banfield is, Ashley Banfield has been on, oh my gosh, News Nation, probably Fox News, CNN. She actually quit being in the media, and you can go to YouTube. I'll show you. Let me share. I was just playing what she was reporting about how she has a source, and Ashley Banfield has been in media for the last 30 years. She's very highly respected. She says she has a law enforcement source who is solid, who knows what's going on, is on the inside, and has said for the third day in a row that the son-in-law is the prime suspect. And it tracks because, out of nowhere, they're still searching Nancy Guthrie's home and grounds. And all of a sudden they show up at Annie Guthrie's home, which is 10 minutes away, and start going through that house, which is odd that a daughter would be looked at. And they take the car and impound the car for forensics. And at first I thought, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. I could see that because the law enforcement's first job in something like this, honestly, is to discount the immediate family. And in order to do that, knowing that Annie and Tommaso had gone to dinner with Nancy and had dropped her off at 9:48 p.m., that being the last car and the last people who saw her, I could see them saying, hey, can we we need devices. They're going to ask, what I call the A tier, the family, the core people. They're going to ask them for their cell phones. They're going to download their phones. I could see them saying, look, let's take the car. We're going to go through it and look for evidence, because part of what they're wanting to do is discount the A tier. It's like, okay, you say you were home, but and again, because historically what happens, it's somebody who knows the victim. Who randomly is going to want to go in and hurt a sweet 84-year-old grandmother? No one. It's got to be someone who knew the setup, knew the people, and knew that there was something to get. It's interesting because I've heard reports that Annie is a poet, and Tommaso is a teacher, and they typically don't make a lot of money, but the home that they're in is 10 minutes away from Nancy, and it is a rural home. These are probably, easily $500,000 to $1 million homes, probably closer to $1 million homes. How do they afford this type of home? And maybe there were money problems. And again, being so close with Nancy, they might have known that there was jewelry in the house. They might have known that Nancy kept cash in the house, and again, took her to dinner. Tommaso could be freaking out. Whoever freaking out, knowing that there's money. It could be, the home health worker. But yeah, somebody who knows the situation and took advantage of this. But I have to think, my original thought was that it would make sense if they're working with Savannah to keep her in that house with Annie, to read the situation, to see if Savannah learns anything, gets the sister, maybe the sister has knowledge, guilt knowledge, suspicion knowledge, get the sister to share or confide or spill something or slip up and say something or hear something. The brother, again, his body language in this video is very closed off. He's got his hand on his elbow. He's got the other hand across his lap, which is a protective measure. And they had just the two sisters talking, because if this is a real kidnapper, if this is a real person with a mental health issue if it isn't the son-in-law, somebody with a mental health problem is going to do crimes that maybe they're obsessed with Savannah Guthrie. Someone who thinks like that has, psycho problems, sociopath, psychopathic issues. They're not going to see Nancy Guthrie as a person. They're going to see Nancy Guthrie as a tool or an object for whatever it is that they're trying to do. Okay. And this is if it isn't the son-in-law, which this is all speculation, just going off of, what I'm hearing. If it is a random person, maybe who is obsessed with Savannah Guthrie, this does happen. If they have mental health issues, then it's very possible that the wording that they used in this video, where mommy, the grandchildren love her and they cover her in kisses. The goal of this is to humanize Nancy to whoever does have her, and make that person realize that Nancy is not just an object. Nancy is a human being, and Nancy needs to go home, and she needs to get her medication, and she needs to be with her loved ones. So again, it's all speculation, but these are things that I'm picking up. I'm just picking up some different things. Again, what I'm picking up is it's possible that the FBI could be using Savannah to watch the sister while they're doing the investigation. It's possible that this ransom note, they're letting the media go amok with it, because it's keeping their real perp calm and not thinking that they're on the tightrope while they're doing the investigation. But I think what's going to end up happening is, when this does break, and it will, we're going to be probably really surprised at what really happened during this whole thing. I think we're going to be really shocked. And sitting here right now, I cannot believe that the FBI does not already know what cell phone was pinging off those towers at 2 a.m. You can't go anywhere. Cars tell on you. Cars have computers in them, and they can go to a dealership and our manufacturer, and they can download data from the car and find out exactly where you went. If they have phones, which is the easiest, that's a no-brainer. They can get that information. But I think the first thing that they probably did with Celebrite was to get any car that was in that area and pinged off those cell phone towers, and then they can reverse look to see what phone numbers pinged. And I mean, they probably already know what's going on. I have no doubt that they do, and they're acting like they don't because they're not ready. Dinky likes to ride in cars. Okay. Yes, Dinky does like to ride in cars. Okay, excellent. Well, I am going to pop off here, but I want to thank everybody for coming to Crime Crunchies. I am getting this channel going. I will be at CrimeCon at the end of May, and I'm still, growing this. I really appreciate everybody subscribing and supporting this. I feel like I've got some different insights to share for sure. When I'm watching these stories unfold, I'm very sympathetic to what's happening in people's lives, but I also look at it from kind of I look at things differently, and I'm looking at how people are feeling and how it's affecting them. And so that's kind of the angle that I feel like I can really share, is just kind of peel that onion back just a little bit and to look at things from a little bit of a different angle. So please subscribe, like, and share. And I will be back with you all. And I hope you all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.